Hello, welcome to the Pagan Perspective, and I'm your Thursday sub, Tim, in Subs Week. The question this week, or rather the topic of this week's video, favourite pagan / pagan-like musicians and or songs. It's an interesting one. I don't specifically use music in my practice generally. Not directly, I don't think. I do have the guitar there. I'm very slowly in the process of learning, which in my case mostly means not practicing at all until eventually my housemate tries to give me another lesson, and then I'll practice for a bit. I'm not very consistent with it. But as far as magical practices, including like drumming and things like that, or anything that's direct, so performing this music or playing this music or listening to this music has a direct effect or magical consequence, or is a direct part of a practice, that doesn't apply to me. What I do find music is useful for is meditation, clearing my mind, and making it more easy for my mind to focus on one specific thing. So if I'm, for example, spending an evening with my runes, or if I'm meditating, or if I'm, I don't know, visiting a burial mound or whatever it happens to be, and I want to take my mind into a separate place, visiting the sacred grove, whatever it happens to be, my brain doesn't generally like staying in one place. I find that, and I've always found this, I find that playing very loud, full-on music takes everything else out. It allows me to not concentrate on anything, so that I can concentrate on one thing, if that makes sense. So, for example, historically I would put on Slipknot or Metallica or something incredibly loudly in earphones in my ears while doing work at college. That's how I was doing. I'd had some sort of assignment that was due in. I was weeks behind on it. I'd put loud music in my ears and just smash through it. It was loud enough and you're familiar enough with it, you don't pay attention to it as much, and it relaxes me. I can't think of anything else, because there's the words of the music and there's the sounds of the music. I can't have any other thoughts in my head, but I don't have to pay full attention to that music either. Or rather, I can't have random thoughts dropping in, if that makes sense. If I'm spending the evening with the runes, I'll stick on Wardruna or Danheim. There's a YouTube, I'm not sure if it's a specific YouTube channel, but there's a YouTube channel that runs in fact I'll look it up while I'm talking. There's a YouTube channel that runs a video called Danheim Radio. It's Danheim's YouTube channel. And so it's just permanent Danheim music. They're a similar sort of thing to Wardruna, so it's like this, they call it live Viking music radio, so lots of drumming and horns and chanting and all that kind of stuff. Wardruna was the band that did Helvegen, the song that's used, or an altered version of that song is used for the theme song for Vikings. Very, very good music. I saw them live last year, beginning of this year, I saw them at some point in the last 6 months or so, I think 6-7 months. And at the end of the show, by the way, if you ever get a chance to see Wardruna live, do. You can look up their videos, absolutely amazing. And at the end of the video, they did say, we're not trying to be Vikings, we're not reconstructionist or what have you, we're taking what we know of the old and we're creating new. I think Danheim seems to be doing a similar sort of thing. I think they're both projects in, definitely Danheim I think I've seen as a band or an artist. I'm not 100% sure, I've not done a huge amount of research into Danheim, but they see themselves as being like a music project rather than say a financial endeavour, that kind of a thing. So it's the art comes first. I often will put music on. If you search for Celtic meditation, there's a few videos that come up first. I don't know if that's my personal YouTube search, but if you search Celtic meditation music or Celtic relaxation music, there's a few videos that come up there that I use for helping myself get to sleep. Again, it's the familiar. So I found this, that if you listen to a song that's new, it's unfamiliar, your brain is trying to decipher it, remember it, listening to the new sounds. The more familiar you are with a particular track, or even a particular kind of sound, so Nickelback get a lot of stick for all their sounds sounding the same. So yeah, if you're very, very familiar with it, your brain will kind of relax into it. Oh, this is familiar, I don't have to think about this as much. Kind of like if you've known a song for years and years and years, you don't need to think what words are coming up next. The lyrics just pop into your head, they just come out of your mouth without you even knowing what the words are going to be. So you're that familiar with these songs. So it can be very good for getting to sleep, for getting into that relaxing place. But again, because there's something there going on, if your brain kind of reaches out for little distractions, rather than thinking, oh, that twitch in my leg, that sound I can hear in the distance, that smell I can smell, your brain is just being overwhelmed with the music. So even if it's familiar enough that you can kind of relax and defocus, you're not seeing other things, or hearing other things. I find I can't put on music I'm super familiar with in the car if I'm driving long distance because of this, because I'll relax and get sleepy, and you don't want to be sleepy when you're driving long distance in the car. So yeah, Wardruna, Danheim, those would be the main band's music I listen to if I am doing any kind of practice. Not necessarily so much for the music itself as what I feel it does to me, as far as putting me in a good mental place where I can kind of defocus and meditate on it. Obviously with Wardruna, there's, if you're aware of them then you already know this, but a lot of their tracks are based on specific runes in the Elder Futhark. So sometimes I'll put on specific tracks if I'm meditating on specific runes. Sometimes I'll just stick on Danheim radio or a Wardruna album, just so that there's sound there. Where it's got this old feel to it, sometimes I'll put it on if I'm in an old place that feels kind of heavy. So I visit a burial mound and we're sitting in the burial chamber with Wardruna fairly loudly in there, and it was a very, very relaxing meditative place. That's kind of quite heavy music with the kind of drums and the chanting and the horns and whatnot. If I were, let's say I was trying to meditate or lose kind of cognitive focus, somewhere like a stream or a hot spring, like a spring, or somewhere that's a bit more light and fairy, somewhere maybe I'd put on some sort of a more, what you'd get if you search Celtic meditation music on YouTube. Definitely the mood of the situation, I think, counts. But then it's very personal. I'm pretty sure every human has their own perspective on this. I think we all like music. I think music is a universal thing for humans, but we clearly all like different music. If you've watched this far, hopefully this is alright. Sometime in the next month, this is being dyed rainbow colours. In 2008, May 2008, May 15th, 2008, I was in a really bad car crash, had like 14 bone breaks, including the base of my spine, 11 in my, or 10 or 11 in my pelvis, glass in my ears, eyes, lungs, lost pints of blood out of my lungs, had a transient ischemic attack, which is like a mini stroke, all sorts of bad things. I would have died 100% if it hadn't been for the air ambulance. If I'd been stuck in at the back of a van, which is essentially what a regular ambulance is, I would have died on the way to hospital, 100%. The air ambulance near me, the particular small organisation, is 100% charity funded. So if anyone wants to go over to charitybeard.co.uk, charitybeard.co.uk, I'm going to be dyeing this rainbow colours and then cutting it off for charity. I'm trying to raise money for the Essex Air Ambulance. If you've made it this far, hopefully you've had the video. You can cut off at this point, as I will be with the beard. Hopefully my fellow hosts won't mind me doing this plug. It is for charity, and I'm losing the beard, and I like my beard. But yeah, so that's my take on music as pertains to how it relates to my paganism, and I suppose some non-paganistic aspects of life as well, like meditation, which aren't, I suppose, exclusively pagan. Charitybeard.co.uk. Blessed be.